I figured it out, guys. First off, before I get into it, I just want to say thank you to everyone for all of the comments and feedback and everything on the Tristan video, and then also my Who's the Best YouTuber, Who's the Best Gunplay YouTuber video that I put up the last couple videos. Thank you for all of the wonderful comments and everything on that, guys. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed both of those videos, or most of you seem to have anyway. But the thing that I figured out, just reading through those comments especially, it finally dawned on me why I think maybe why over the years I've occasionally been accused of being an elitist or being pretentious in the community, or just as myself, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I haven't really planned this video out much. I just wanted to share this, and I thought it'd be easier to just record myself kind of talking a little bit about this topic, maybe than rather just putting a post on my Facebook page, which was what I was going to do at first. But so a couple points as to why I think this is. So the first thing about coming off as pretentious, I think is due to, as I kind of talked about in the last video, talking about my perspective on the hobby. And my perspective is, I look at model kits and I talk about them as model kits, not as toys or action figures or something like that. So when I talk about them, I talk about model kits with the intention that they're meant to be painted or modified or customized or things like that. And I think some people get a little bit bent out of shape about that, because if they don't do those things, some people of course just like building and, you know, maybe just snap building, and that's all. They don't even want to do anything else of panel lining work or anything like that. I have said on many countless occasions that that's totally fine, whatever people want to do with their Gunpla. I don't personally look down on any of that. I don't think I could have made myself any more clear over the years about my personal opinion on that. But I think people just still tend to, I think just maybe internalize that, maybe just they're happy with what they do. Say, for example, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this exact point before in a video at some point, but someone who's perfectly happy with just snap building a kit and enjoying it as it is, but then when they hear some other people like myself talking about how kits should be painted or something like that, maybe they feel like other people are looking down on them for not doing that. But I'm not, so I don't know. I know some people do. Okay, of course, some people do look down on people who just only snap build or don't do whatever ding steps. But yeah, that's just not an opinion that I have. Anyway, so that's one thing. And I think the other thing is that I just in my social media presence, I think like here on YouTube and then on Facebook and things, I am not very idealistic, I think, or I don't see Gunpla or the hobby in general like through rose-colored glasses. I don't see it as like, it's not like an emotional experience for me. I think a lot of people will maybe take to heart the kind of whole, and especially maybe recently with the Build Fighters series and Iron Blood Orphans series have had a lot of impact like this. I think of like trying to like tug on people's heartstrings with it a little bit. Like it's like this really like motivational and inspirational thing. Like Gunpla is freedom, and you build your Gunpla, and like all with the Iron Blood Orphans, I think it just did this a lot, just with just kind of fan service. But it's just not that for me. Like a really good song or a really good movie or something like that will have like an emotional experience for me. It will make me feel a certain way. But Gunpla is it's just a cool thing. I love it. Obviously, it's been a huge part of my life, especially for the last few years. But it's not something that I have like an emotional experience or like emotional attachment to. So like when people saw my videos about like cutting up the Gunpla boxes, people were having like a breakdown in the comments like, I could never do that. Oh, that was so cringy when you cut the box. It's a plastic model, and it's a cardboard box. Like it's really not a thing to like have some sort of emotional reaction to. And I don't like go on rants about how Gunpla has changed my life. And so I think not having that and sort of having like a kind of a little bit of a cold emotion to the hobby, I think maybe also comes across as pretentious, and sometimes just in the way that I talk about things or do things maybe. So that would be kind of maybe my second idea about that. And the third thing is just about money. Of course, anytime you have things that other people don't have, some people will call that, or some people will think of that as elitism. And so I think that's a lot of times where this elitist word gets thrown around. There's maybe different reasons, but I think especially a lot of times it gets thrown around for when you have someone like me who obviously has a lot of kids here. They maybe will think of that as elitist, or think that I'm like trying to flex on you guys by having these in the background of my videos or something like that. It's just because I have nowhere else to put them. So trust me, if I could have just a plain background with nothing there, that would be preferable for me. And I don't know, just, you know, when you get older and you have a full-time job and you can afford buying model kits, that doesn't make you an elitist or something like that. You're trying to show off to people who can't afford to buy model kits all the time. I was there once, and we've all been there when you're young and maybe you're a elementary school, middle school, high school student, whatever you are. When you don't have a job, you don't have a lot of money, you can't buy a lot of kits. So obviously your kits, the kits that you do get, are going to be really more special to you. When you see someone else who's just kind of like just going through kits and it's not really that big of a kind of special thing, I could see how you might get a little bit put off by that. But I think calling that elitism or calling that pretentious, I think is just the wrong word to use. I think that's just lack of understanding about context. And context matters, as they say. So it's not really a big thing. It's not something that like people call me all the time. It's just something that I've heard from time to time over the years. And I think the biggest thing for me was about realizing this, about why I wanted to make this video, was I think the second point was the thing that I had never really thought too much about before, but my lack of really idealistic thought about the Gunpla hobby in general. I think I'm just a very kind of, as my name channel might lead you to believe, is that Marcus Aurelius, obviously the Stoic philosopher. I'm really into Stoicism, and so of course that I think can come across a little bit cold sometimes for people who do kind of follow this sort of philosophy. And so maybe that is why, but I think, yeah, that's not my take on that. It's not how I would look at it. But anyway, that's really not really all that I really had to say about this. Nothing really too much more. It's just kind of a conversation video, I guess. I just wanted to just kind of talk about that. I'm not like pissed off about it or anything. It's fine. I don't really agree with the terminology. So when it is thrown around, I just kind of brush it off. But that's my thoughts on it. What do you guys think about that? I know I'm not the only one that ever gets labeled elitist. There's a whole Facebook group about the elitist Gunpla group where that's just kind of used jokingly, of course, but it does get thrown around, and I think it's unfortunate because a lot of times I think it's just, it's probably just young people just throwing the term around, or people just kind of out of jealousy, honestly, sometimes when they see people that have a lot of things that they want, they just kind of feel jealous. Like I could say, you know, what's another big YouTuber? Casey Neistat. If you guys don't know, Casey Neistat, big, huge YouTuber. He's always flying around in first-class jets and things like that. I could say, man, that Casey Neistat, what an elitist, dude. He's not elitist. He just works hard and gets paid well and gets a lot of really awesome stuff. And would I like to be him? Of course. Would I like to enjoy a lot of the same stuff that he has? Of course. But I wouldn't put him down in a negative way, saying that he's an elitist or something like that because of the things that he has or because of the things that he owns or just however he lives his life. But whatever. Anyway, just stay away from the name calling, I guess. In general, we don't really need that in a hobby about building plastic toy robots now, do we? So that's it for today, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.